Do I remember my password? I don't know. Probably not. The worst part about starting anything new, you have to do so much like excess work for absolutely no reason. If I can't remember the password for one email, how am I going to remember a password for another one? But no, it's just. That's just. I don't care what any of you say. It's a bicycle. It's not a bicycle. Bicycle. What's this thing? Bike rack. 20 to 26 pound capacity. No, I'm not. I'm gonna have to do harder than that one, son. Jeez. Oh yeah, there's a T in there. I just forget that. It's French. Right. High sessions. This is such a good song. It's from Your Lie in April. I know there's nobody watching this right now, but watch Your Lie in April. Best anime I've ever seen. I haven't watched anime since. I'm not even kidding. Is this? Yes. Yes. What else do we? Take cancer too large. Kilograms and tele. Um, um, and like another thing, like obviously I'll probably use a 7-Eleven if I need to, but I want to mitigate that as much as possible. The point about this is to use the environment to my advantage, not what the environment created. It's kind of easy to use 7-Eleven and whatnot. And generically speaking, it's not really good for the way that I'm trying to biochemicals in my brain. Obviously, I'm still thinking, but that requires specific biochemicals. So using a reduction of ease and stability can dysregulate comfort, and that dysregularity of comfort can cause hypertensive cognitive inversion if I use too many 7-Elevens and try to balance back and forth. What will happen is I'll wind up thinking. And when I think about, let's say I make a decision. My decision was I'm not going to use any 7-Elevens unless I absolutely need to. Like if I'm 400 miles 400 kilometers without water and I need to get water, different story. One, I should have been prepared, but either way, that's a different story. But what happens is after your mind focuses on one scenario, it generally tends to lean towards the easier vector because the way our mind displaces biochemicals is dependent on survival situations. So if I'm in a survival situation and I need water, if I see water and I'm using my brain's focusing on the hippocampus, regardless of where I am, where my brain is thinking, it's going to immediately conject water. I need water now. So I'm going to grab this water from 7-Eleven, take a sip of it, yada, yada, yada. Now, when my brain recirculates to the prefrontal cortex, where like algorithmics and mathematical consistency comes into play, which is technically where my brain would go, okay, I need water now because it's a mathematical type of logarithm. So my brain's going to try and log, okay, I need water, but it's not going to think that way because of the displacement from one vector to another. And it's going to wind up causing me to overthink. And then I'm going to be like, no, I need to focus. So when I try and force focus, my brain's going to flush cortisol, but that requires epinephrine. But my brain's with more epinephrine because I just went to 7-Eleven to get the water that I need, which is two easy things, which is a double entendre. I know that's super confusing. Basically, what happens is I'm going to start thinking. And when you start thinking, you start failing. All I'm saying is when I need to think, I think, but I try to stay away from it because it's not really a good thing. Either way, I'm going to be doing a hydrographic map in the next 5 or 6 months. Um, It's going to be after I do all the checkpoints and get all of this left, right, who's he, what's it's completed and situated coordinatively. So if I'm in, let's say, August, August, I'm going to be doing hydrographic map surveys of the entire planet so I can determine where I can get water and I can check on a map. Okay, which is why I'm going to have a map when I get to the central area of Mongolia. I'm going to be using I'm going to be using a compass, watch, and sextant for it, but it's going to be a watch and compass. I'm going to use sextant for that. Technically, I could use it, but it's pointless because the mountain ways. I would have to use sea level to redetermine pitch level aerial zoning, and it's like, is it really worth it using the sextant at that point? But um, anyway, uh, like I was saying, so I'll have a hydrographic map in the event that I need to find water, but I'm most likely going to be taking the Russian cycle line. So there's going to be multiple waterways from the mountain terrains and whatnot, and there should be almost a stream or a riverbed just about anywhere, even if it's and even if I'm in the boondocks of Russia or whatever you would call the country of Russia. If I'm in the country of Russia, then obviously there's going to be stores and whatnot nearby, but I shouldn't need them. It's kind of weird to do that in modern day and age, but realistically speaking, it's better to have my body focus on the natural survival instincts, so my brain can be more interconnected to the dependencies that are required for survival. So I can kind of differentiate what's the cell phone, what's the laptop, what's this, what's that, which is good for business, believe it or not. I have like 15,000 lines of code already developed. So, I mean, it's like I can't really go much further until one, I have enough money to stabilize the market economy and figure out what needs to get figured out because lawyers are expensive. Technically, I could have like an intern, a new lawyer do it, but that's predatory, and I'm not a fan of that. It's like, am I really gonna have some new guy do all this work for super cheap because you need to? Anyway, so back to this charcoal drip. Um, 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 beef, 5 kilograms. And what you see on the screen here, this is what would be equivalent because they're two sides to the same the two sides to the same coin. So turkey, beef, rice, cholesterol. Right. MCT oil weight or liar. LYRE. Come on. MCT oil lean. Oh no. Let me know when they get rid of Yahoo. MCT oil. It's a lot. Nothing here. I'm gonna have here. Vegetable oil, 1/2. soup. One eighth liter coconut oil. 1/2 liter MCT oil. 1/4 liter peanut oil. Soy sauce. 1/2 liter peanut oil. P2. 160 servings. For those of you that don't know, I don't know what is here, but if you stumble upon this video and want to rewatch it or rewatch it, if I actually get like a follower or not, one way or another, I'm going to be doing this with or without viewers. So if somebody stumbles upon this and looks into it, and you like peanut butter and you're trying to lose weight, get PB2. It's about 30 to 50 grams of calories per serving, but it allows for you to mix in your own oil. So let's say, for example, you want to use like a light oil or base oil. You can use like a 1/4 teaspoon of peanut oil, mix it in with the peanut butter, mix it in with water, mix it in with milk, mix it in with protein powder, and it's not the same, but it's something. You know, obviously it's not going to be Skippy peanut butter, but Skippy peanut butter isn't good for you. It's really bad. It's not a medium chain triglyceride. It's multiple polyglycerides, and it's almost impossible to burn off. I eat peanut butter like that before fights. You know how many calories I burn in a fight? It's like close to 1,500 before stabilization, which is about 2 weeks of recovery. I still messed up, and I was only like 5 days ago, but still. And he doesn't get it. Anyway, peanut butter 2, 160 servings. Like 160 servings of peanut butter 2 is like maybe half a kilogram, maybe a pound, if that. Mix it in with water. I mean, it's something. Dollars. Excuse me. That's a big issue that I have when I'm making videos. I have a tendency to just burp when I'm making videos, and I also go off tangents so easily. Like I said, I get a lot of work done really fast, and then when I try and continue that work really fast, I forget what I'm doing, and I'm like, oh, I'm take a sip of coffee. This is charcoal tea. Charcoal's really good for diuretics. You're a big protein powder person. Use charcoal. Charcoal helps flush out your small intestine. It also works somewhat with the liver, but really activated charcoal in general kind of helps increase thermogenic states because it's a base chemical. So it binds to basically anything. That's why we're carbon beings. We're not carbon beings, we're oxygen beings. But like we're not carbon based, oxygen based. Obviously there's a base of carbon inside of us, but we're oxygen based. For the record, guys, if there was any other aliens in existence, which is really there's nobody watching, but it's really fun. If there's other aliens in existence, nitrogen and helium would be the only other two types of chemicals in existence. Nitrogen is extremely rare because the amount of average displacement of it in existence is very, very high. So it's very, very moderate. It's like walking around and seeing dirt. It's like, where do you not see dirt? Something like that. Whereas helium's extremely rare. Helium-3 per capita is like 0.0001% of existence. So yes, if there was an existence that was considered indefinite, the other two beings would be nitrogen and helium based. But back to work. 12 chocolate bars. Uh, Existential displacement. Variation from dieting. Use crash international transfers. Use ATWP Bibles for CTC, and that's it. Cool. Let's see where we're going here. I'm gonna go cold weather here. Okay, so some of these are going to be indefinite again, but you have thermal insulation, polypropylene insulation. Polypropylene is so nice. Keeps you warm wherever you are. Bivy which is basically just, it's basically like you put that inside of your sleeping system, or you put that inside of yourself and you just fall asleep inside of it. Like maybe a pound, so it doesn't really add too much extra dead weight. And quick tarp takes like 4 or 5 minutes to set up. It's basically just like three metal poles and like a tarp. It'll be nice and easy, like if I'm extra cold and whatnot. But the quick tent's gonna be, or the quick tent's like a 5-10 minute setup, but it's better for weather. So if there's an extreme cold front coming, rain or heavy winds, or I'm in an area where there's probably a venomous reptile or dangerous animal, then I'll use that. But which is one of the things I'm trying to get out to Thailand to do a trek through Khao, but not only is it extremely dangerous, but I'm trying to find an actual pathway which I can walk through that most people don't go through. It's like I think the northern part of Thailand where I've been going is home to 35 venomous snakes. I think there's 25 pit viper. There's no rattlesnakes, to my awareness. You have the king cobra, venomous water snake, and then there's like different types of there's spitting vipers. Uh, there's a few more, but I can't remember which ones they are. Um, Excuse me while I sip my coffee rudely. Um, so it's like between that and the alligators, wild boar, and tigers. It's not really the safest thing. So I'm gonna wait till maybe, I don't know, maybe June or July, see how I'm feeling. And then in June or July, I'll figure out, okay, maybe I should be able to, maybe I can find a pathway, or maybe I can do like instead of a 50 or 100 kilometer, just do a 20 kilometer. But only time will tell with that, really. Give me 1 second. I'll just pop that one. Yeah. Um, I'm gonna buy a helmet. Probably only wear my hat. The insulated cycling pants and waterproof jacket are gonna be for most of this is gonna be for the last 4 or 5 days, but I shouldn't need to really worry about that until a few months from now. So let's see where I'm going with this. Let me figure this thing out real quick. I have to go to my college actually. Hmm. W prods. I'm not interested. I Gmail my Google. Why would I add my Gmail account? That doesn't make any sense. Do the account right. I need to schedule my classes for the summer. Because yes, believe it or not, I'm still in college while doing all this, which is fucking awful for my mind, but does it really matter? Nobody hears me. Mm, I want to change the music, but like there's not too many products. But you clairvoyant boy? Google account, no. Look. Why are you not opening up? For some reason, my internet doesn't want to open up. Probably because the second it opens up, I'll make a bunch of money. Performance boarding. I'm not happy. Google.com. Excuse me. So the switches. Not to be on how to register. My professor helped me out so much. I missed a bunch of my work while I was in Thailand, which I didn't actually mean to. I thought my work was on the 20th, but I had a whole bunch of issues, and then when I got back, I was like, "Oh my god, I missed all this work." And I messaged her. She was like, "Please go right ahead, do all the work that you need to do." And I was like, "Thank you so much." Where is my biggest issue is hydration. I struggle with hydrating, especially while I'm working, which I guess isn't really a big deal, but it should be. Let me see. That's Stingledy doo, stingledy doo da, ringledy. Say hi to Dutch, everybody. This is my melon. He's a big baby. Ooh, you don't touch. Okay, come here. What? Hydrate or die, Dutch. The dog jumped onto my porcelain floor, whatever. It's not porcelain, but it's a floor. It's slippery. And he fell and bonked his head. Now he's all embarrassed. Uh, so, what's going on? Like I said, it's really late here, so anyway, smoke breaks are discretional. The bathroom's consistent. Okay. What gloves in here? Thermal gloves. Black gloves. Um, de-insulated, no, aerated. More gloves. Sunglasses. Have do. Sunglasses. What else do I need here? Oh man. All right. I, with all the programmers, you think they would have autocorrect for capitalizations and whatnot, but long sleeve, yeah, that's not gonna happen. Shirts, for long sleeve shirts. One medium weather uh, breaker. What else do I need? Um, um, uh, let me think here. I totally forgot what I was supposed to. Oh yeah, part of me wants to bring jeans. I love wearing jeans, but that's the type of thing that I'm talking about, where that connection to like the sanctity of what we normally do. I'm trying to break that. You hear about it in like the hippies and stuff, like people that like all go out into nature and stuff like that. That's for sense. This is for actual cortisol reattribution. When we're on our cell phones, humans naturally mirror. When we talk to each other, we talk back and forth. And what I mean by that is we have to read each other within some level of measurable reversion. If my frequency is off by a little bit, the other person will usually reset that. And that's how counteractuation occurs, which allows us to think, believe it or not. The reason why children generally think more often is because they don't know the words yet. So they put their heads down, and that's where all those emotions, feelings, and da 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 da, da come from. But for an adult, on your phone for the better part of 4 hours a day and work on a computer for the better part of 8 hours a day, it's like it's hard to reassociate cognitively without constrictive biases, which dysregulate the ability for autonomy to occur naturally, which is called asymbiosis. So asymbiotic behavior is going to act whatever way it can. We can't not act. That's impossible. However, if you need to readjust asymptomatic behavior. Usually, the best thing to do is put yourself in an environment which isn't considered classically normal. And I don't mean like go on vacation. Going on a vacation is lazy and lethargic. Am I saying never go on a vacation? No, I'm just saying a vacation is an excuse, not an actual reason to reset. And if you are somehow able to reset using a vacation as the arbitration for it, it's considered abuse. That's through and through 100%. Anyway, um, so this is meant to stress me subcortically, so my brain can resituate itself back to its natural state of balance. Scenic stone, padded cycling pants. I don't need padded cycling pants. So, this will just do standard. Standard cycling sweatpants. Uh, uh, um, da, 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 toothbrush. Advanced first aid kit. I was about to say moose knuckle, but it's called moleskin. For those of you that don't know, moleskin is like it's basically 3M tape that you can just throw on like any type of like sore cut. It's not something you should use, but it's good for if you have like if the insole of the boot or the shoe breaks, or if you get like blisters and whatnot, or if like your gloves break or become warped, you can use them for that. But I would just slap them right on blisters and whatnot because it would just work well like that. But why are you running? Why are you running? I don't know. Hello? Mm, I don't know if my mic's even working right now. It should be, but I don't know. TSHP. Moleskin. Um, do I recommend moleskin? No, but it can be useful if I need it. Like, it's considered bad luck to open up your first aid kit before you need it. Is it really? luck, but you know. Moleskin, shaker bottle. Excuse me. Excuse me. Shaker bottle. Solar panel. I plan to fixate the solar panel on top of the pack or on the side of the bicycle if possible. That's something I'll get into later. However, a friend that I met while I was in Thailand, I'm beating myself up almost every single day because of this. I didn't get their number. And I was supposed to get his number when we got out there, but I totally forgot about it. And I can't remember his name. Either way, he was a really cool dude, good friend, really. Um, he gave me the link to this battery pack charger. It supports 67 full charges from the iPhone, which means that's roughly about 12 days, including my laptop because I'm going to be making videos while I'm out there still. I plan to just try and increase my speed very, very minimally every day so I can get like an extra 2 or 3 hours in. It's not going to be easy, but and AI doesn't really even work that well. So I'm basically stricken with like a bunch of garbage, and I'm only going to have maybe an hour or two a night to edit. So most of it's just going to be live feed videos, which doesn't do well for it. But I may have somebody help me. Like I said, I'm already pushing the limits on how much money I'm going to be able to afford for all of this, and it's quite expensive. But anyway, I'll figure that out later. 1 to 2 hours a day. I can get a video done in about 6 hours. And that's why I don't want to do the cinematics, because if I do these cinematics, these crazy views, people are going to click away because they're going to get bored. So it's like, how am I supposed to? How am I supposed to, get across the planet in the time that I have designated while simultaneously making YouTube videos? I'm just going to have to be really smart with my video timing. I'm only going to be recording when I have something to say. I'm only going to be recording when it's part of the video. So the reason why I'm doing this preliminary video set is so I can get myself comfortable with focusing on a specific video topic per day. Once I do that, that 6 hours turns into 45 minutes. Is it going to be perfect editing? No, but 60% of the work's already done. So all I have to do is go onto my iPhone, upload the videos on a timeline based on start to finish, load them onto my transmitter, transmit them to my laptop, go to Wondershare for Mora, upload the videos on the timeline, add in any little bits of information that I need to, and then the video's up. Is it going to be perfect? No. But it's still going to be something to add some level of entertainment. And to be completely honest with you, I really don't think that it's going to be that difficult to make the videos while cycling. Is it going to be awful? Yeah, but only time will tell. I mean, I could spend $100,000 on this and lose all the money. But if I get 100,000 subscribers, 150,000 subscribers, and I have a baseline for my company, like I said in the first video, well, then that's a home run for me because now I have a baseline and a foundation of people that know who I am, know what the company is, and I can build on that. I can work with that. Now, am I asking my viewers to pay for this whole thing? No. If it happens, will I be happy? Yeah. It's $100,000. You know how much money that is? It's like $100,000. But either way, I can't expect anything. I don't have any viewers. I don't have any previous recognition. I don't have any foundations to support the fact that I'm actually going to be able to do this or do this in general. Am I telling you that I'm going to do this? Yes. Is it 2 a.m. right now? And am I doing this? Yes. Am I going to be doing a 3,000-meter swim tomorrow? Yes. Are you guys going to see it? You're going to see a part of it. But if you don't see the full thing, how do you know? My faith is blind. I mean, I'm jumping into something that's totally blind in a country that I don't speak the language, but it's for my business, so it doesn't matter. Mm, I don't know. The year off of college would be nice because after I get done with this, I'm back in college and I have to get my master's, and after I get my master's, I have to get my doctorate, and then I have to start the company while I'm running my doctorate. You see why I'm doing this? This is gonna if I can do this while making YouTube videos, I can do just about anything I need to do. And using this as a bias to arbitrate myself allows me to not have to dissertate every single thing I do to conject any bit of information. So yes, this is all connected, and this is going to go a lot deeper than you think. However, that wasn't my iPhone. So, message unavailable. Hey, what's up, man? How you been? Sorry, my brother just texted me. Anyway, my brother's a little bastard. Anyway, um, like I said, my brother's a little bastard. Um, so what was I saying? Yeah, the company is in its initial development phases. I'm using this to generate some means of connection. It usually helps out with the initial start of companies because what my plan is yes, I'm going to be using you all as lab rats. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm going to determine how many people are where based on how many people follow me and who follows me and whatever else it may and what you have it. And then I can use that as a bias to arbitrate a sequence of information to determine algorithmics of people that are using the application that know from YouTube and people that don't. And I can try and better help to coordinate what the application actually does. And once I do that, I can figure out, okay, there's these metrics here and these metrics here, and those metrics can better help me to determine the type of volume that I'm working with, believe it or not. Um, so generally speaking, if I have, let's say, 100,000 followers, 100,000 subscribers, I launch the app, and now there's 4,000 people that are on the application that are actively using it. That's 4,000 people more that I didn't have to worry about before. Now I have 4,000 people on an active application that are able to use it and generically assign it to say, oh, well, this person may like it. Well, this person may like it. Let me go let them know. Something simple like that. And I don't want to go into the intricacies because I'm under personal NDA on this, and legally speaking, it's not really good to talk about applications and softwares while I'm still in the early phases of it. But basically, 4,000 people on an application across the entire country can better help me to determine where volatility is and the different types of computer ergonomics that there are. So, like, if I have 4,000 downloads in, let's say, America only, and there's a major disassociation location, let's say the central the central United States, which is 500 kilometers west of Oklahoma, northwest of Oklahoma. I go, okay, let me put some ad marketing and advertising and revenue generation in there because I clearly don't need it there. Once I do that, I can better coordinate and gravitate the different variables of the company, and then I can open up different subsets of the company and facets and branch it out accordingly. Okay, it's painful and confusing. Um, Excuse me one moment. Excuse me. What are you talking about? So yeah, I would assume that I'll have a pretty decent following at the end of this. I think I'm going to be the first person to ever do this. So yes, this may be a world record. Um, I mean, it should be interesting. So I'm hoping. Like I said, I have a serotonin deficiency, so I can't really look at the positive things. That's the only thing you guys will ever hear about me. I struggle with happy chemicals. I don't have those. The only time I feel positive is when I'm doing something extremely stressful because it lets my mind forget about the fact that I don't have something. So anyway, that was one video of everything, but either way, um, editing, learning, and training is something I don't mind. So I assume I'll have a decent following. And if I have a decent following, then I have a baseline. And based on I can string the keys, I can string the chords to success. If I can string the chords to success, I may be able to learn to play with it. If I can learn to play with it, maybe I'll do another one. Maybe I'll do something else. I definitely don't plan to not stop making YouTube videos, even if I do like awful. Like if I only have like 500 subscribers for the rest of my life, I'll still make videos. I don't see any reason why not. It's something I wanted to do when I was a kid. It was like stealing like people's drawings online, posting like drawings online. And it was like my RuneScape. I was like trying to sell my RuneScape account on there. I was like, it was so illegal. Like I should have been. I probably lost credit points on my credit score because of it. But it's completely fine. You got to start somewhere, and if you're starting in the negative, it usually results in a positive. However, if you know that and do it the other way, it's considered wrong. Anyway, all right, solar panel. Another good idea is probably to grab one of those charge pack solar panel, charge pack with solar panel, which should be able to help with, excuse me, which should be able to help with, at least charging my phone. Like I said, I'm going to be using a GPS in America. Do I need it? No. I'm going to use it. Yes. Um, I need a watch and watch, chart, sextant. I'm going to bring the sextant with me, even though I don't want to. It's to remind myself to get, when I get to Apple II, without going too into detail with it, when I get into Apple II, I need to have that sextant with me. As soon as I break the North Atlantic shelf, I have to shoot an azimuth on Polaris. If I don't shoot that azimuth on Polaris, I will fail. I will most likely fail so miserably on that shot to the Korea Atoll that I will have to call the Coast Guard, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to fail here. I don't want to overshoot here. And if I fail, I will literally row backwards. I will literally fucking row backwards. Excuse my language. It's that important. If I don't have that azimuth, that 400 million kilometer shot turns into about 200 million. And it's 200 million on a 50 off axis, which is about 100 million. And I can't really 0 to 100 million unless I shoot straight on a south heading down south of Hokkaido all the way to an eastern heading. Even then, I'd have to reach for another azimuth. I'd have to reset. I need another map, which I'm not going to have. I can probably have my brother go drop me off one, but I'm going to bring it with me. So, like I said, once I fire that shot, the next one's going to be in Mongolia or north of Mongolia, and then that's how I'm going to fire at Seven Heavens. And once I do that, I should be golden. Watch chart sextant. The watch I'm going to set on a universal time, so I have the same time throughout. That's important. Remember, if you shoot a line degree using two different types of astrological times, it becomes dimensional. I'm shooting it on a flat grid. So if I shoot a flat grid, I need to make sure that I'm on the same watch time. So if I'm in America, if I'm going to find my coordinates directly equilateral with the Earth, set my time. So you have time, 16 minutes north, but I'm going to have an actual watch time to determine the axis of the Earth. So that zeros that 12% offset and actually increases the amount of variability to a level of pristine equilibrium. So if it's 12:36, I shoot my first shot. If it's 12:36, I shoot my second shot. If it's 12:36 p.m. and a.m., then I flip the shot and I do 160 degrees opposite. That wouldn't be possible because I wouldn't be able to see Polaris or anything. Once I fire that, boom, it's going to be like a perfect shot. So, anyway, chart watch sextant. The chart is going to be how I chart the points. Once I find out where I am, I don't even really need the chart for it. I can do this with, I can just do this with mathematics, but I'm going to use the chart. It's probably safer. Either way. There goes all my tea. Anyway. Basically, that didn't make any sense. And I was speaking in regards to you guys knowing how I was already going to do it because there's no time on a laptop. But basically, I'm going to shoot two major long distance azimuths that are almost equilateral across the Earth to set up a diamond formation for when I get to the eastern side of Hokkaido. And once I get to Hokkaido, I'll be able to shoot a direct line azimuth based on the GPS location, and then I'll direct line azimuth based on where Polaris is, and I can zero those three major distances into one small line, which drops the create a toll from 9 kilometers in 100 million square kilometers to about 9 kilometers in like 45 kilometers. So I have like a 30% chance of hitting it perfectly. That's like the only possible way I'm gonna be able to shoot that without because without GPS it's almost impossible. That's pretty possible. That makes it possible. I'm gonna say it again. It'll be done perfectly and spoken up really, really well. But excuse me while I sip my tea. Okay. I'll be right back. I'm gonna be walking across the planet, which is anticipated to take somewhere in the time for 256 days. So I'm gonna take a hiatus from my masters so I can try and do something that nobody's done before. What's up, baby? Buy me dinner. Yeah. I still have no followers. God, like you guys are so gay. Should I sell you guys cigarettes and drugs? That one viewer that clicked in didn't see me there and clicked out. Looks like my bank account. Bullseye. Anyway, where was I going? Watch chart sextant. I don't really need the I don't really need the chart, but I'm gonna bring the chart anyway. It's probably gonna get like destroyed in a storm. I'm gonna like lose all variability of it, but anyway. So I'm going off of like direct awareness and knowledge right now, so it's kind of difficult for me to determine what else I'm going to need. However, I'm pretty sure I wrote bike. Let me just make sure. Bicycle. Is it Saturday? I don't even know what the day is. No, it's fucking Thursday. Stupid. Idiot. Oh, that makes sense. Oh. This isn't even the right email. I do whatever I want. It's the next excuse my language. Before I get demonetized for all of existence. That makes sense. Undercover FBI agent weighed 400 pounds. Definitely not undercover there, you fat fuck, but anyway. Just me sitting here imagining Elon Musk just comes into the chat and says, "Yeah, I'll pay you for the entire duration of it." I'm just like, please. How do our brains navigate the social world with an immense amount of complexity? Richard, thank you. Sent. Anyway. Nicole. Bump. So yes, generally speaking, there's not really I don't really need much for this. There's not much that goes into this. It's just the matter of whether or not. Give me 1 second. I actually have to do a quick equation real quick. Turkey kilograms, 4 kg grind. Kg grind. Chicken and rice. Clear. Yeah. Um, I don't want to use too much cholesterol. If I clog my arteries, I'm gonna struggle with breathing, and my mind's not gonna be able to actually absorb any of like the actual nutrients that it requires. Cholesterol is a complex. It's a complex fat, basically. So basically, cholesterol enters the bloodstream, and the cholesterol is extremely dense, so it cools the body's blood flow and allows the body to burn at a longer rate at a stable level. Believe it or not, which is why it's so hard for fat people to breathe, because as soon as they start running, the cholesterol floods into their body because it's a very, very weak, complex polychain triglyceride. And it allows for the body to naturally cool itself, because the fatter you are, the higher chance you have of going into shock. And cholesterol floods that out by restricting the amount of blood flow that you have, technically. Give me one second. So, did you get your bachelor's? Basically, I can use that to stabilize my body and restrict the amount of calories that I lose at a major expense of psychological generation. And remember, this is for my psychological construct. So, as much as I would like to use more cholesterol, I can't. So I can only really use a packet or two per day, and even then, I can't really use it in cold climates because it doesn't hydroexfoliate. So it would wind up doing more harm than good, because it would convert the fats, it would convert the muscle storages in my body before it converts the cholesterol. Um, that's why eggs are an appealing breakfast in the morning, because it helps stabilize your body and get you comfortable for the day. But most people ruin that by drinking a cup or two of coffee, which is really funny. That's why everyone in the morning is always like, "Ugh," because they don't know. So basically, just flood your mind with retroactive generational cognition, which is what is known as resonance. Give me one second. Videos. Shorts, videos. Bad, bad, bad. As always. 186. Um, share. Copy link. Paste. Um, whatever was I saying? So yes, cholesterol is going to be extremely necessary, and grinding up those types of freeze-dried foods and making a lard out of it is going to be the only reason why I can survive this. I can't really use that. I have to slow down on that usage while I'm in Sakhalin, because once I start swimming, I can't really have that much cholesterol in my body, or else my body will seize. 50-kilometer swim is not easy. However, so yeah. What do we have? Right about an hour and 22 minutes. I have pretty much all. So what I plan to do is I'll probably do about 4 or 5 more of these over the next few weeks, and I'll just follow the same trend of whatever I'm talking about. So next week we'll do the Atlantic. The week after that we'll do France. The week following we'll do Aquarius. I'm probably going to change Hokkaido back to Acer, but it doesn't really make a difference, unfortunately. Um, Acer was a computer that I used to use as a kid, and I still use today. However, I did most of my programming and software work on Hewlett Packard, so I'm leaving it to Hewlett Packard. Anyway. Mobile phone. Moonbufu. Dodge, come here. Dodge, come here. Hello. Say hello to the camera. No, he doesn't care. He just wants. He doesn't like caffeine. He really likes. What is it like? I don't really know. He seems to really enjoy the food that I cooked though. So it's like completely random. But I got into my pre-workout before. You got a bag. I have bags of pre-workout because the gym store that I go to closed. They closed down. So I was like, maybe I should go to another gym store. I went to another gym store and they didn't have any actual like bottles of pre-workout there, so I just got like a bunch of packs of pre-workout. And when I got back from the gym today, one of my packs of pre-workout went missing, and I wound up seeing it on the floor, and it was half eaten, and the dog like drank all of his water. It was really funny. It was like half cracked out. Like he only had like maybe about 8 ounces of water in his bowl. He probably needed so much more. But you know. All right. Anyway, I will. I'm gonna get going. I mean, we pretty much did most of the work today. And before we stop, I'm actually gonna add the other things that I need in here. Bibles. So I pretty much have all the food completed too. So let's pop this like here, and ding. I'm gonna bring avocado oil. I don't really want it. Avocado is a monounsaturated biglyceride. So it's considered a medium chain glyceride, but because of the base complexity of its tropical nature and the displacement of how the fats actually situate, because it's high protein, it's technically a biglyceride. So what the general consensus for it is like it's not really useful in any of the areas that I'm going to be. Yes, it's high in protein, but protein isn't really going to be that effective here. I may use it in Aquarius. Aquarius would probably be the best place for it because I'm going to be doing a run. So at the run, it'll probably be useful because my body's going to be moving at a way faster rate under a heavy dead load. But because of the heavy dead load, I can't really say that it's a positive factor because of the force compression from dead rucking is it's gonna counter that. So I need polyunsaturated fat there. I could use it in Hawaii, but it's only 1 or 2 days. So I'd have to do I'd have to stabilize my indirect diet and then change my direct diet for 2 days. It's not worth it. Especially because I'm going to have islands to sleep on. I'm going to do like quick walks, maybe like 1 kilometer or 2 a day if I can, just to get my ankles situated so I don't fracture, break, or tear, which is entirely possible. Like I said, I'm not superhuman, so one bad storm, I'm dead. I probably won't call the Coast Guard unless it's extremely needed, which is great for views and likes, but dangerous for me. So, pretty much does it. I don't think anybody's really going to watch this. However, I'm going to leave the stream up. You never know. There's good information here. There's good tidbits of information that people can use to learn and whatnot. So I guess I'll just leave it at that, and I will see you guys in the next video, which should be in about 2 or 3 days. It's going to be Apple II, which is for New York City to France, and then we'll get into Dell. Dell is going to be a long video. Should be somewhere in the area of about 1.5 hours, just because of the war and whatnot. So we're gonna have to go into the complexities of that, and then I'm gonna explain to you guys how that's gonna work and how we're gonna change based on what's going on and whatnot. And then I have a friend in Switzerland who can probably help me out for a price or whatever. And then he can meet me in Belarus because I know he's not going to Ukraine. He'd say fuck that, which I don't blame him. So I don't know. If you guys actually wind up dropping in on this video and checking it out, please feel free to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And a very big thank you for watching. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.